you trying to make me cry in front of everybody, man?
Yeah, that's the point.
One word of advice. Buying TV, don't spend it on Hooker.
Super Russ. I'm the last character on my Justice League team with these 4 babes.
What's up?
Yo, what's up, guys? We are here with episode 64, and we are talking aliens this week.
Yeah,
Are they
and
real?
not the movie.
Are they fake? Do they come from Krypton? What's up?
I thought it'd be an interesting topic. It's a hot topic in the world right now. So
Yeah, it seems like a fun thing to kind of speculate on.
I guess we'll start with, I don't know, Russ. What do you have you ever been an alien guy? You ever been into all that sort of stuff?
I mean, growing up, I liked some Star Trek: The Next Generation. It's like I never really got into Star Wars until like much later. Like I guess I was in my late 30s already before I got into Star Wars. But like, yeah, I really wasn't into it too much growing up. I was more into the superhero stuff, but I did watch Star Trek: Next Generation every once in a while.
But as far as like, were you ever into like watching, like you documentaries and falling into like a YouTube rabbit hole of, UFO videos and all that sort of stuff?
Not really. I mean, for me, I guess it was more like movies, like alien type movies, like Aliens and
Yeah.
Predator and stuff like that. I never really got into like the documentaries and like the like conspiracy side of Aliens, Area 51, and all that kind of stuff.
Because it's kind of crazy now. Do you want to shout out the people in the chat?
Hold on,
Oh,
I
can you
knocked
see the
my
chat? Can we
earbud
do it?
out accidentally. Yeah, TM Nerdy popped in here, and we're up by lunchtime. What's going on, guys?
Because when I was younger, man, there used to be so many shows that had, I don't know if you guys had the shows, things like The Extraordinary, and I think there was one called Sightings that used to be on.
I think I remember that.
And that was literally just
That
like
sounds familiar. Yeah.
like it was like not a reality show, but like just a show where they would have people tell their stories, their abduction stories and things like that. And man, I was obsessed with them when I was a kid.
Did you ever see
to-
I think it was M. Night Shyamalan movie, Signs?
Yeah, that was a great movie.
I enjoyed that.
That was a good movie. I didn't really like the end of it, but the movie leading up to it. Like there was that scene where you see it on the street. I don't know if you remember that. It's like on the news and it's showing people running around getting all scared. And then the moment you see the alien thing, it was like I literally almost jumped.
Yeah.
Because they did it so well.
It's like, I guess like all of M. Night's movies ended kind of weird.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I watched his most recent one, Old. It was not a good movie. It was, I didn't enjoy that at all. But yeah, I remember when I used to watch those shows at night when I was a kid, like Sightings, and they talk about alien abductions. They used to do like reenactments.
Oh, yeah.
And man, they used to scare me, man. I couldn't sleep at night thinking there was going to be aliens that would abduct me and things like that. But
another good one was it was called Forgotten. I can't remember who directed it, but it was like a alien abduction type movie, and it had I can't remember the actress's name, but she was in the sequel to the Silence of the Lambs movie, I think.
Forgotten.
It was. I can't remember if it was called Forgotten or The Forgotten.
The Forgotten with Julianne Moore. Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
That's
actually.
it. That was good.
Okay, interesting. I haven't seen
It almost took a more. It was like Aliens at the start, but by the end, it almost took a more like supernatural poltergeist type turn to it. But the whole movie, like leading up to it, sort of seemed like it was like alien abduction thing.
I'm gonna guess you haven't seen Fire in the Sky. That was like based on a true story, real abduction sort of thing. That was like one of the
The
first
title
movies.
sounds familiar. I know I've heard that title, but I've never seen it.
That was one of the first like alien movies. Then there was like Communion and things like that, which was also I think based on true events. Then there was like Independence Day, that was definitely based on true events.
Oh yeah, totally. Will Smith punching an alien right in the face.
Oh, that's right.
What's up, Cody? And I saw Sean popped in here too. What's up, guys?
But yeah, man, when I got to in the early days of YouTube, I was obsessed with this stuff, like with alien. Like it's funny because I used to when I first moved out of home, I was probably about 23, 24-ish. And so that was a long time ago. And YouTube was still in its baby stages.
Yeah.
But man, there were so many videos back then that I watched that you can't actually find anymore. And I would literally just sit there till like the early hours in the morning. Just like one video would lead to the next, to the next, to the next. Some of them are like people claiming, you know, real footage of an alien and, you know, whatever. Mate, I'd be just up all night watching that stuff. There was one video, and I really wish I could find it again, and I've tried recently because, man, I used to be so into it that I didn't even like talking about it because I didn't want people to think I was crazy. And then as I got a bit older, I kind of like in the last 10 plus years, I haven't really paid much attention to it. And then now I know obviously it's really big right now in the media and things like that, which we'll get to. But back then, yeah, there was this video series. It was in like a bunch of parts, and they were all like 5-10 minutes each. And it was so the story was supposed to be that the person who made the video was a guy who used to work for NASA, and he was basically in his deathbed, and he narrated all these videos of what he'd seen and learnt while he was working for NASA. And apparently the story was like, you know, he was in his death, he was dying, and he made these videos, and then he got his lawyer or something to upload them. Like, and they were all done in that style where his voice was all covered up, so he had the real deep voice thing filter going on. And man, that had some crazy stuff in that video, dude. Like, there was this thing, and I hate telling this story because, oh man, like there was this video, and it was like how to communicate with aliens, and I was like, what the hell is this, right? And you know, and a whole bunch of the videos he made was stuff that you know all the conspiracy stuff, and you know what they saw on the moon, and you know things like that. But anyway, they had this thing, and it was like how to communicate with aliens. And I can't really remember much of it, but it showed this thing on the screen, and it was making a really weird, like, and I can't remember how they explained it, but like how to, because you know a lot of people say that with aliens they communicate telepathically, right? So I had this thing on the screen, and I can't even remember. It was just like a bunch of weird shapes and scribbly lines and weirdness, right? And it was this weird sound was playing the whole time. And again, I can't remember how they actually said they communicate, but I remember this had something to do with it, and it was this weird bunch of shapes and stuff. Anyway, so I hate telling this part, but that night after I watched that video, I woke up in the middle of the night and I could hear that sound. It was crazy. And then I remember getting to work the next day and telling people, I think I'm going crazy. But I've always tried to find that dying NASA. It was like dying NASA scientist or something like that. And he had like a whole series of videos, and you just cannot find them anymore.
I guess they just were they on YouTube at one point, and they just got removed.
Yeah. So, but why did they get removed, Russ? It's because it was revealing too much.
Somebody got silenced.
Because
What's up, Norin?
Like when you watch those old shows like Sightings and stuff, they just interview some random family who are like, hey, we all got abducted and they did sexual experiments on us. Like that stuff I don't really care about too much. Like it's interesting, but I always enjoyed listening to stories from people who work in like the military and the Navy and NASA and whatever, just because those people are a lot more credible, but also they've got a like they're putting their reputations on the line to say crazy stuff too, you know what I mean? So I was always more into that side of things.
A little more credible than like the hillbilly with like 3 missing teeth out in the middle of the field with the straw hat.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh yeah, they came in my farm. Yeah, so Norenrad, I actually was scrolling on TikTok last night and randomly it came up that apparently 2 days ago in Mexico, so they obviously did that whole thing in America, how those guys came out and talked about all that stuff, all the whistleblower stuff. But then apparently 2 days ago in Mexico, and I've actually got the article up on my other screen, that they brought out 2 alien bodies, mummified bodies in Congress and said, these are aliens and they're 1,000 years old. So I haven't looked at too much into the story. I literally just saw a TikTok on it last night before I went to bed. And I was like, holy crap, let's talk about this tomorrow.
I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah, I didn't know about it. And then I searched it on TikTok and found another guy who kind of explained what it was all about. But yeah, Bob Lazar has some interesting stories here. That's a good one too, that documentary about Bob Lazar. Hang on, let me see if I can share.
I might have to look some of these up later because I'd never heard about any of that stuff.
Yeah, hang on, let me see if you can share my screen.
Okay.
Oh dear, we're getting deep into the rabbit hole now. 1,000-year-old. Wait, what's going on? 1,000-year-old non-human alien corpse was shown to Mexico government. So yeah, that thing there.
I bet. I bet he voted in the last election too.
The funniest thing is now that I'm finding with all the American Congress stuff was like all the people. Like I was reading comments, and basically everyone's now like, look at that. Like, what? Maybe we'll leave it muted just because I just turn it down just so we don't get any copyright claims here. Look at that. Aliens are real. We just proved it on its Simply Super.
The proof is right here. Subscribe for more.
Yeah, it is tiny. They did x-rays on it. They showed like x-rays on it and stuff, and it has these weird things in its pelvic area.
I gotta say, man, if I was out somewhere and I saw something like that, I would not go near. I would go in the opposite direction. It's like the dude in like the all the like old school mummy movies that
I feel like that's a little
unearthed the sarcophagus or something. And
I mean, I'd be scared, but like it's so small.
I mean, it kind of looks like a mummified sloth or something.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. There's a good image of it. The alleged bodies of 2 non-human beings were presented during a congressional hearing in Mexico, generating a mixture of surprise, disbelief, and ridicule on social media on Wednesday. The purported mummified remains were exhibited in 2 small display cases, the first time the Mexican Congress has officially addressed the issue of possible extraterrestrial life. The crazy thing is, it's like they say that they're 1,000 years old, so it's like, how the hell did you get these things? The alleged corpses, which had a grayish color and a human-like body form, were brought by.
Don't you wish your phone was fun like this?
I swear I'm getting viruses from this website. A controversial Mexican journalist and researcher reported finding them in Peru in 2017. Oh no, what did I do? But yeah, that just kind of came out of nowhere last night.
Very ET like.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, that was an interesting one. But yeah, when I was watching all the stuff on the here, let me remove that screen. When I was watching all that stuff on the American Congress stuff, it was funny watching the comments of people saying like how now because the government is saying that they're real, I don't believe it anymore.
Yeah.
Like there was someone in the comments that was like, people, aliens are real. The government, aliens don't exist. And then the government, aliens are real. People, I don't believe you. Aliens don't exist.
Yeah. If the government's backing it up, something's fishy.
That's right. Airport pilot reviews it in link. Or maybe
It's like I'm sure you've seen like the videos now of that woman that was on the airplane that was like freaking out and saying that
About the
dude's
lizards?
not real.
Oh man, don't even go there.
Yeah, that like I didn't hear about that until probably a few days or a week after it happened. I was scrolling TikTok and I saw the video of that and I was like, what? What's going on here?
All that alien stuff led to reptilians and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? So there used to be this dude. He used to come around to a place. So again, this is when I was living with friends, when I first moved out of home. And this guy, I don't even know how we met him, but he used to come around and he was a massive conspiracy nut, like just insane conspiracy nut. And he was the first person who told me about the reptilian race and stuff. And I was like, what? I was like, what are you talking about? And then I looked it up on YouTube and oh man, it was just like hours and hours.
Super rabbit hole of videos.
Of videos, yeah, like all these videos of saying, Hillary Clinton is a reptile and showing videos of like their eyes going flickering weird in certain interviews and things like that.
I mean, there's a good chance all that was caused by too much plastic surgery.
Maybe.
What's up, Tim? Brian? What's going on, guys?
Yeah, I was right up in that. The best, I used to buy a lot of like documentaries and stuff like that too on DVD. The best one, and this has kind of been forgotten about, like during all the Congress hearings, I did watch one news report thing where someone brought this up. And I was like, man, I've known about this for like the last 10, like well over 10 years. I bought this DVD. It's called The Alien Interview, where this guy who claims he used to work for Area 51 got the footage of them interviewing an alien. And it's hard to tell because the footage looks good, but just everything's really dark. So, but then they run it, they get like Hollywood special effects people to watch the thing to say, to try to debunk it. And most of them saying, no, it actually looks pretty good. Yeah. Like they've done really well with special effects.
It's always like fuzzy or like pixelated, like, when people show like footage of Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster.
But that was actually a pretty good documentary because it shows the guy who gives the tape and he's always like wanting his face to be covered and like he has the voice filter thing on as well and he's just saying, man, like, yeah, it's interesting, all that stuff. It's hard to know what to believe and what not to believe, but
yeah,
there's some stuff I just feel as far as people that are like, nah, it's impossible, they never would have visited Earth. I just feel like there are so many stories. I don't believe that all of them are bullshit.
I mean, there's so much like universe out there, man. It's so many other planets. You'd think there's got to be a purpose for them.
Yeah. But yeah, so you never had that sort of fascination with that sort of stuff?
Not really. Outside of like, the movies and stuff. Like I said, I never really got into like the documentary side and really like delve too deep into it.
Okay, so for someone who's never really cared, like, do you believe that aliens, I guess, are out there?
if they are, I hope it's like Star Trek or Mass Effect, where you can just chat up these hot alien chicks. Because I'm like O for O here on Earth, so put me on a spaceship.
Well, that sightings show that used to be on that, and that was all mostly alien abductions. A lot of them were talking about how they got sexually experimented on. So yeah, Russ is
I'm open
giving
for
himself.
experimentation.
Yeah, he's volunteering. Next thing you know, he's got a real baby Super Russ out there who has like alien powers. But yeah, I find it interesting how so many people are also very just don't take in any of it. Like, obviously, like I said, you don't believe everything you see, and a lot of like UFO footage is very sketchy. But then sometimes you see stuff, and I'm like, man, that looks kind of real. Go back and see this. Well, that's a theory too. People think that the aliens are like people in the future and we've evolved.
I mean, if something like that did exist, the technology would have to be insane for space travel and like light speed. And I don't know, like, did you ever play the Mass Effect games?
No.
I feel like that's something that would be like up your alley. You would enjoy. They're awesome. It's a series of 3 games, and each one is interconnected, and like the decisions you make in one game carry over to the next game.
To the next game, like the whole game.
Yeah, it's a trilogy of games.
Interesting. So you can you can replay the entire trilogy if once you're done.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome, man.
Just trying to see. Yeah, the Bob Lazar story is actually really good. Who someone was mentioning before. So he used to work for, I think it was he was brought into Area 51 or something like that. And he's like a scientist, and he's pretty credible. I think that's why everyone kind of believes his story. But he says he saw some shit when he was there. Like I think he was like saying, he was. A lot of stuff like was still kind of kept hidden from him, but they were showing him stuff that he kind of had to, I guess, work out how it worked. I guess reverse engineer and stuff, and he was just like saying, "Man, the stuff he was seeing was crazy."
I mean, it's kind of wild that they like after they went to the moon back in like the 68, 69. They just they never went back, and they like lost the technology to go back. What they see up there that they didn't want to go back?
Well, apparently there's that recording of them up there saying all that stuff, that they saw stuff up there, but it's like a hidden recording. But I think it's been leaked before. I don't know if it's real, but I remember watching videos on that ages ago. So, and like they're saying, "Hey, what's that over there? What's that over there?" And you can hear like them back at the control center go, "Oh no, don't worry about that. don't, just ignore that."
That could like tie into the whole like alien lizard people thing. What if they were replaced and they sent them back to Earth, and the real people just died up there?
Yeah, I feel
that's another like conspiracy like hole to dive into.
There's a guy called David Icke. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's a big conspiracy nut as well, and he's like all up in that reptile stuff. I had a DVD where he was interviewing some guy, what was he? He was like an African, like I can't remember what his like title was, but yeah, there was some crazy stories, and it all leads back to like things like what's the language? It's like the oldest language in the world, like Sumerian or something like that.
Kryptonian.
Armstrong said a lot was following you. Yeah, well,
It's like in the Spider-Man cartoon, man, when J. Jonah Jameson's son went to the moon, he brought back the Venom symbiote.
The Anunnaki. That's right. That's right. All that stuff, man. I've kind of forgotten a lot about that. I read a
That
book.
sounds Egyptian.
I read a book. I bought a book actually. It was one of the last books I read. I didn't complete it all, but I got right into it for a bit about the Anunnaki. It was called the Alien Agenda, and there was a whole thing about the Anunnaki, and it was talking about the sun god and all this stuff. And man, it's funny because you read some of it, and obviously it's so far fetched, right? It definitely sounds like a sci-fi story, but it also sometimes the way they say things, you're like, oh, that makes sense. You know?
What's up, Kenneth?
Yeah,
I feel like that's something I could like get into with that, like because stuff like Greek mythology and Rus mythology, like growing up, always kind of fascinated me, like the different mythologies with cultures, and like Egyptian and stuff, and like their gods, and they're like how they worship cats and things, and like mummified them when they passed.
there was that
I know there's
movie.
the whole like the whole thing where like they thought aliens built the pyramids and stuff like that in Egyptian times.
Well, it is interesting a lot of that stuff too, because like those, you know how they were saying like each block, you know, it's like concrete block weighs X amount, so how the hell would they have? And
Like,
it's all like cut
you know,
perfectly, and Anunnaki or aliens from Planet X. That's right, mate. This is going way back. Planet X, which only comes into our solar system once every X amount of thousands of years or hundreds of years, whatever it is. That's right. Planet X. They came to Earth and built pyramids, then created us and started civilization. Oh man, I'm gonna fall right back into a hole of this stuff, man. Like,
I know another like just tying into video games right fast. I don't know if you know like any of the lore behind the Assassin's Creed games. How the Isu people were like the people before the like Earth people were like created, and the Isus were like this race, almost like this godlike race of beings that created like regular people, and then they died out, but a couple of them survived.
They created people.
Yeah, they like there's like hidden videos you can find in the first game, and it shows like Adam and Eve running from the Isu race, and it's this whole like crazy expanding lore that it's just it's awesome, man. I've definitely gone down a rabbit hole with that after playing those games and watching like explanation videos and stuff like that.
They're basically Anunnaki.
Yeah. That kind of reminded me of that with the Isu and the Anunnaki, what Norin was talking about.
Yeah, I wish I whipped out all those DVDs and watched them all before I did this, because I'd be much fresher on all my knowledge. Because I kind of ignored it all after a while, just because, again, I didn't really like talking to people about all this stuff because people just think you're crazy.
I mean, I got an open mind, definitely, about all that stuff. I just tend to relate and tie it more into shows and like video game lore than anything else.
I think it's weird though, like how, you know, the theory is that, you know, they're hiding it because they think the people will freak out. Like, I don't understand why would freak out.
You know, most people don't care. It's like when they did the whole thing and the government basically confirmed it and said they exist, and people were just like, okay, I still have to pay my power bill tomorrow, right? You know, I still have to go to work. Do I still have to pay taxes? I mean, that's people's concern more than the destruction of Earth, I think.
Actually, Norenrad, because Norenrad seems right into it. I did watch a documentary recently. I can't remember what it was called, but it was about like a real famous alien sighting, like an alien sighting, not a UFO sighting, an alien sighting in Brazil. I don't know if you've seen that one, but I watched that only like a few months back. So apparently, there was a crash. I think so. They had a crash because some guy was talking about how he saw the wreckage, and then in the town there were these 3 young girls who saw like an actual alien being, and then I think that the military came and took it to like the hospital, and they basically went and interviewed all these people that were kind of involved and stuff, and they all said similar things. Like apparently it reeked, like it had a really, really crazy stink to it. So the people who worked at the hospital, and some of them didn't even see it, but they were just saying something was taken in by the military. A doctor looked at it and they said the hospital stank for like months. They actually closed down the whole section of the hospital because this stink that came from whatever it was like stayed around and stuff. And that was a really good doco too, because all the people, it's weird when you actually hear stories from non-English speaking countries. I don't know why it seems more legit too. Like they just don't seem as full of shit as some English speaking countries. But I can't remember the name of that doco. I watched it only not that long ago. But yeah, if you haven't seen that one, the one guy that died. Yeah. Mate, Norman Red's all up in it. The guy who actually picked up the alien and brought him into the car, he got some kind of weird skin disease or something like that. Radiation poison, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he died. And he was the guy who I think first, picked it up and then took it to the hospital.
That's what I'm saying. Like if I see something like that, I'm not touching it. I'm going in the opposite direction. I'll be like, that's none of my business. I'm out.
It's funny seeing some of like the footage that people, and they look so bad. Like some of them, like get out of here. Like you didn't even try to make it look real. Like some of them just are so obviously staged. Like I don't understand. There's a big thing on like your TikToks and reels and stuff of people who do like reaction videos, but they're staged. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm like, what?
Yeah, I see a lot of those all the time.
Why does that stuff even get popular? Like, is it because there's people that are that dumb out there who actually think it's real?
I mean, there's people out there that buy bathwater from Twitch streamers. So I lost faith in humanity a long time ago.
Telling you, mate, that's another key that you could get in. Sell Super Russ's feet water.
Dude, I couldn't even sell legit comics. No, I doubt somebody's going to buy my feet water.
Did you end up selling anything?
Nah. I just kind of gave up.
I think you just need to expand where you're selling it, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, I might give Whatnot a try one day. I was talking about that with JoJo on my Let's Talk Comics stream.
I think you still need to have a following though to get on Whatnot.
Yeah, but she said the fees over there weren't quite as bad as eBay fees.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where else am I going with this? James Tynan wrote a book about the first alien abduction.
Really?
Yeah, you know that famous case? It's like Betty and I can't remember her husband's name, but it's like the first ever UFO abduction story. He wrote a comic on it. And I read the first issue and I was like, man, I don't care about this. It's like I've heard the story a million times. I don't need a comic book to tell me what happened or what supposedly happened.
Yeah, I mean, you could always check out Guardians of the Galaxy stories. It'd probably be more entertaining.
I'm trying to think if we can bring up some more video to oh wait, that's an ad. I had some video loaded up that Noran Rad posted the link to, but I don't know if I want to. It's just the guy talking about the aliens that were found. You need IG for accepted or YouTube Plus.
So you have to be kind of known already.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. As far as if you want like, if you want people to be there, you need to be able to promote it through your other platforms.
Well, I don't know if it'd be worth it because I'm just trying to sell like 1 or 2 items. 3 at the
Yeah,
most.
I
Yeah,
reckon just try eBay, man.
yeah.
At least eBay, you're getting more eyes on it than just what marketplace or whatever's going to give you.
Oh
Or
yeah, I don't
Instagram.
mess with Facebook at all anymore hardly.
Doesn't Instagram have like a marketplace as well?
Um, I
I
don't
feel like
know.
it does. I feel like it does. Hey, speaking of
Yo,
JoJo,
Jojo, what's going on?
do you believe JoJo? Are you a believer of aliens and UFOs and the reptilian race? You don't have to go live. You can just list it. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's pretty good. Then if you can just list the books on whatnot, that's not a bad option.
Yeah. Have you ever gotten into like X-Files or anything like that?
You know what's funny? I never really dug X-Files. I watched it sometimes. But the reason it was because X-Files covered everything supernatural,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
I was
it like
really
branched out a lot.
yeah, it was kind of like super like yeah, it just went
Yeah.
everywhere. I was really into just the alien stuff. So I don't know if you remember, but there was a show that was similar to X-Files called Dark Skies, and it was
That sounds familiar.
just about like that. It was like X-Files, but purely about like UFO cover-ups and things like that. And it was my favorite show. It's funny, it came
Really?
out on DVD like I don't know, 15 years later, and I was like, holy crap, Dark Skies came out. So I bought the DVD and I watched the first episode or two. I was like, whoa, this is bad. Like, I couldn't do it. But back in the day, that show was everything. It was like conspiracies, like the Beatles were aliens, and like
Really?
they
I
were
never
like
heard that
mind
one.
controlling the people. You know, people went crazy over the Beatles. Like
Yeah, I
everyone
know they
saying like
were huge back in the 60s, 70s. Was it
it was
60s or
like
70s?
they were mind controlling people through their music. Woo.
You love the X-Files?
The X-Files
I need
movie.
to I wonder if that show is streaming anywhere because I haven't seen it in years.
Did you watch the X-Files movies? Because I didn't see them either, but weren't the X-Files
No,
movies more
I never did
based
see
around?
any of the movies.
I feel like
But
the
yeah, I
movies
think the
were more
movies were
based around
more
UFOs and stuff like
yeah.
that. So
It's
but yeah,
been
I used to
years
watch it
since I
from
saw
time to
the
time.
show though.
Sorry?
Used to watch what?
I used to watch X-Files just like from time to time. Like if it was on, I'd watch it, but I didn't like anticipate it every week like some other shows. But yeah, Dark Skies. No one ever talks about Dark Skies. It's on
That
Hulu.
sounds very familiar. Oh, it's on Hulu? Cool.
Yeah, it was had a decent cast as well. Eric Close, I think that was the name of the actor who was the main guy. And then Megan Ward is that name? Mate, let's test my Megan Ward and Eric Close. Hang on, I'll just type in Dark Skies. How about that? Dark Skies. No, I want TV series, please.
Would you get like a weather forecast?
No, I got like a movie with Kerry Russell in it. TV series.
Huh.
Eric Close and Megan Ward. Woo! My memory's not bad. JT Walsh, he was the guy who worked for the government. Jerry Ryan, isn't she like a famous person? I don't remember her being in it.
Jerry Ryan, what isn't she the one that played 7 of 9 on Star Trek Voyager? There
you go. Yeah, I think she's a Star Trek person. Dark Skies movie was okay. So what's this Dark Skies movie? Is that it's not related to the show? Because that was the first thing that came up. 2013 Dark Skies. Kerry Russell, John Hamilton. I don't know if I remember that one. Have I seen that? There was man, there have been so many good movies that like were like so close to being exactly what I wanted. Like, there was the one where they went to the moon, and apparently, like, it was a whole conspiracy that when they went to the moon, they actually found an alien ship, and like, because there was this video that got released on YouTube, which was apparently the real footage of that, which I don't know if it was real, obviously, but then there was a movie based on it, but the movie just didn't quite hit. I remember the movie too. It was pretty good. Yeah, Dark Skies. Have I seen that one? I can't remember if I've seen that one or not.
That's another one I'm going to have to look up because I haven't heard of that one.
I feel like 2013. I reckon that would have been something I would have wanted to see. I feel like what's the? Oh, actually, wait. The poster looks very familiar, so I got a feeling I might have seen that, but I don't really remember. Oh, look at that shadow of the alien. Scary. Yeah, and there was what was that? There was one that was kind of like almost like trying to do the Blair Witch thing where it used a lot of like home cam footage, like
Oh yeah, the
and they
found
did this.
footage type stuff.
Yeah, there was this one. Like I almost thought, like what it was, I think it was like the movie was like someone getting interviewed, and then they would use footage, and it almost felt like I thought anyway. I thought it was going to be like the movie was kind of. It was a movie, but then the footage was kind of like supposedly real footage. But then there was one scene that happened. I was like, okay, that's not real. This movie's not real. There's this one scene where this cop gets out of the car and it's using the car cam footage. And like you see this massive shadow like in the sky, like fly over. And I was like, oh, that looks fake as. The Fourth Kind, is that it?
Is that Close Encounters?
That's no. I think The Fourth Kind was a film. Yeah, that's it. Oh, Mila Jovovich was in it. Holy crap.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And like they're interviewing them and then it keeps going to like this like footage sort of stuff. But yeah, I remember seeing the trailer and the trailer was very convincing. Yeah, it was The Fourth Kind. That's right. Man, that was a long time ago, 2009.
I think I've seen that.
I forgot
with
that
Mila
Mila
Jovovich. I'm pretty sure I've seen that.
I think in the movies, I didn't realize it was her until like quite a bit into the actual film.
Was that before or after she did the Resident Evil movies?
That was way after. I think 2009. Yeah, it was way after. You're thinking of Fifth Element, mate.
Fifth Element's the first movie I ever saw her in, and then I saw her in the Resident Evil movies. Glitter and duct tape. What's going on?
What's going on, Glitter? Are you a believer? Mila Jovovich was also in Dazed and Confused. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie.
No, I haven't seen that.
It's a really good movie. It's got an all-star cast when they were young. Like Mila Jovovich is barely in. She's like an extra almost in it. But Matthew McConaughey's in it. Ben Affleck's in it.
Really?
It is. Oh man, I should even bring up the cast. Dazed and
Confused. I'm guessing it's like a stoner type movie.
Yeah, about them in high school. I think it's like about them graduating high school and stuff like that.
Is there anything like Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
A little bit different. So Matthew McConaughey, Jason London. I don't know if you remember Jason London. He's twins with Jeremy. I think Jeremy London, the guy from Mallrats. Parker Posey, Ben Affleck, Joey.
I would recognize them before I remember the names.
Yeah, this
there's so many people I know by seeing them, but I don't know by hearing their name.
Yeah, this cast was out of control. Like, just a lot of them ended up becoming pretty decent actors. Yeah, Jeremy Fox was in it as well. Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's a good movie. Great movie. Oh, that was the first time I heard all right.
Oh, that's where I hear that all the time in like memes and gifs and stuff, but I didn't know where it came from.
It's a Matthew McConaughey thing. But yeah, that's a great film. I'm trying to think of that movie that what's that movie with Jodie Foster in it? Contact. Have you seen that?
Oh God, I think I have, but it's been a long time.
I don't think I've ever sat down and just watched it from start to finish, but I think I caught the end of it once, and it's a bit of a trip. If aliens come, will they be like A, Independence Day, B, Arrival, or C, they live? They live.
I think we're in the they live era right now, anyways.
I don't think I've seen Arrival either. That's the one with Charlie Sheen, I think. I don't think I've seen that one. That was like a famous one. I think a lot of those big Hollywood alien movies don't really interest me because I know they're so far-fetched. I want stuff that's believable. Like there was the movie about was it called the Phoenix Lights? Is that what it was called over there?
I haven't heard of that one.
Hang on, Noran Rad will confirm that. Phoenix Lights, I think that's what they called it.
If like I said earlier, if like aliens ever come, I hope it's more like Star Trek, where they like are a little more friendly instead of like murderous.
Yeah, I highly doubt if aliens were real and they came to Earth, they would be hostile. I just don't buy that.
I don't know, man. I guess it depends on who they meet first.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, because if they come in peace, we're shooting those motherfuckers down.
Yeah.
Jojo, we spoke about Fire in the Sky. It was like the first. That was like the first movie I watched that was like, it was based on the true story and all that sort of stuff. And that's actually a good film. They do that well. And there was also
going to have to check some of these movies out.
There was also Communion with Christopher Walken, which I think was also based on it. But yeah, Fire in the Sky, I think, was the first big movie that was kind of based on a real event, real abduction.
What's up, Ben?
Yeah, but I don't think Independence Day is a little bit too much.
Yeah.
I would highly doubt.
Men in Black.
Yeah, you see, Men in Black. When I heard about Men in Black becoming a movie, I was like, oh, that's going to be sick because you know the story about the Men in Black, right? So supposedly, the Men in Black were the people who would, if you had seen a UFO or had an alien encounter or whatever, the Men in Black were the people who would come to your door and say, hey, you're not going to ever repeat what you saw, all that. That's who the Men in Black was supposed to be. So I thought the movie was going to be about that. And then I went and saw it, and there was like pugs that would talk, and
yeah.
I was like, what is this? It's not what I wanted.
I didn't know it was based on like actual Men in Black. I didn't hear about. I just knew the movie.
They got the memory wipe thing.
Yeah, what was it? The neuralizer.
Yeah, but because when I used to read books when I was younger, like it was all like the Men in Black were like people from the government who would show up and like threaten you and say like if you ever tell anyone what you saw, we're gonna come after you and stuff.
I just the song Will Smith did for the movie is trying to like run through my head now.
Yeah, we should end the stream with us doing the Men in Black dance.
I definitely can't dance. I would hurt myself. I didn't know there was a comic too.
Wait, there's a comic of what? Arrival or Men in Black or are you talking about the James Tynion one? Yeah, maybe next episode we do a reptiles reel, a reptilians reel, because I went down that rabbit hole. I never like the reason I was interested in reptilians though is because when that crazy conspiracy guy used to come over to my house, like I used to love him talking about all the UFO stuff. But then when he brought up reptilians, I was like, wait a second, what are you talking about? And then when I looked it up on YouTube and found videos, I was like, what the hell? Yeah. What is this?
I didn't even know about the whole reptilian like conspiracy thing. I didn't even know about that until I saw that stupid video of the woman on the plane like tripping out about that dude not being real. And then I saw that, and then all of a sudden, for some reason, all those videos started popping up in the feed when I was scrolling through after I saw that.
I do think it's odd that that whole UFO thing in Congress wasn't like a bigger story. I feel like you really had to sort of know about it I thought it would have been like the biggest thing in the world.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I guess people just weren't interested. It's like, I mean, like I said, when they did that, all I saw was like memes of people saying, do I still have to pay my taxes?
Oh, hang on. Sorry. You said Arrival. I thought they meant The Arrival. I didn't know there were two different movies. Arrival was in 2016 with Jeremy Renner and Amy Adams. The Arrival was the one I thought you guys were talking about, which is Charlie Sheen.
I vaguely remember the Charlie Sheen one.
Oh, actually, yeah, I remember this Arrival. I don't think I ever watched Arrival, but Oh wait, have I? It's got this big football-shaped UFO that lands. Interesting. Yeah, it's just weird. When I watch those movies, I just always want. I don't want to be too far-fetched. I just want to. I want to believe that the movie is real. Oh, okay, he did mean. Wait, did you say the right? Yeah. But yeah, imagine one day like aliens land and they're actually xenomorphs from Aliens.
Okay. I would be in trouble. I would not survive. I don't even have access to a flamethrower.
What do you mean, mate? You've got guns and samurai swords, Russ. You're good. What
Would
do I
that
got? I
work
got
on a
Nerf guns.
xenomorph?
Huh?
Would that work on a xenomorph?
A gun, just don't stand too close so its blood doesn't get on you.
Yeah, man. Like the acid would like just flow back and get you anyway. Yeah, if it's like aliens or predators, man, I'm done. But if it's just like hot Star Trek babes, I'm good to go.
I don't think the Predator would want you, Russ. It likes a challenge, so.
Hey, man, they don't call me Super Russ for nothing. I'm in shape now. I can go.
That's right. It was about.
I can go all out for about 10 solid seconds before I get skewered by the predator's claw.
It was about figuring out how to communicate. I feel like maybe I did watch that now, thinking about that. 7 years was a long time ago, though. Arrival changed the way I think about life. Wow. Oh, I'm wondering. I feel like I might have seen that now that I'm thinking about it. It's funny how some movies. I don't know if you saw. Did you watch any of the Transformer movies?
Just the first one.
Okay, I think in the second one, or maybe it wasn't. They almost tried to do like the whole alien spin, as in like UFO alien thing, but it's Transformers. Like Transformers, like they had like the Dark Side of the Moon thing, and
yeah,
Hilary Swank in an alien film. What's that? Let's find that out.
the only thing I really remember her from is when she did that one Karate Kid movie.
Dude, Hilary Swank is in one of my favorite movies of all time. $1 Million Baby is one of my favorite.
I've always
films.
heard that was good, but I've never seen that.
Dude. I watched it again not that long ago. It's probably maybe at the start of this year or end of last year. I rewatched it and it's so good. Hilary Swank alien movie.
It had a demon bear in it.
What? I don't know if I want to watch it now.
Is that anything like Cocaine Bear?
I Am Mother? Is that no? Wait. Away. There you go. Oh, it's a Netflix film. Away. Let's have a look. Away with. Wait, that's a TV series with Hilary Swank. It says.
Oh, really?
Wait, Hilary Swank. I always get her mixed up with someone. I always get her mixed up with Jennifer Garner for some reason.
Oh yeah, she Jennifer Garner. She was in
Electra.
Alias and Electra, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I never heard of Away. But yeah, you should see $1 Million Baby. It's a good film. It's a tearjerker.
I don't care about tearjerkers, man. I cry enough. I don't need movies doing it.
I've only cried ever once. Not cried, but I've never cried in a movie. But there was one movie that made a tear roll down my face. Do you know the movie?
Twilight?
No, I've never seen Twilight. I've told the story many a times.
I remember you telling it, but I can't remember what the movie was.
It was an Adam Sandler movie.
Oh yeah, Click.
Very good, Russ.
Yeah. I don't. Have you ever seen Green Mile?
Yes, I have.
That movie didn't bring a tear to your eye, man.
No.
That
In
one
fact,
got me a little bit.
I was really enjoying that. Is that a Stephen King story?
I'm not. I don't know.
I feel like it might be. But anyway, I thought that movie was really good up until a whole bunch of bees started flying out of the guy's mouth. Is that movie? Isn't there a scene where like all these like bees
Are you
and stuff?
thinking about Nicolas Cage in The Wicker Man?
No, I'm pretty sure someone in the chat, the Green
It's been
Mile.
so long since I saw
What's
The
the guy's
Green Mile
name?
now. I don't really.
What's the guy's name? He passed away.
What was his?
Something
Michael
Duncan.
Clark Duncan.
Yeah,
Yeah, Michael Clark Duncan.
I'm pretty sure there's a scene where like all these things come out of his mouth, and I'm like,
Yeah,
what
I
happened to
think
this
I
movie?
do remember that now.
How can you forget?
After he got killed, I think.
Yeah, that happened. That like after he got killed. No, I'm pretty sure he's alive, and he's just like, and all these things come out of his mouth. I was like, what happened to this movie? What happened? It just did like a 180.
I only saw it one time because it made me cry when I saw it, so I never watched it again.
I like, so when people tell me that they cried in a movie, I will be like, challenge accepted. I mean, that's if the movie sounds good to them. That's just
I mean, I wear my heart on my sleeve sometimes. Too. I mean, I cried at the end of Endgame when Captain America danced with Peggy Carter.
What about when
that got the heartstrings, man?
What about when Iron Man died?
I'm more of a Captain America fan.
In the cinemas, when bloody Iron Man died, I've never heard a cinema so quiet in my like. It literally just, it was so quiet. I was hoping someone would fart in that moment because it was just so quiet. What scene in Green Mile? What happens in Green Mile that's so sad? I can't remember it. I only saw it once.
I can't remember now.
You can't remember what made you cry?
Because, like I said, I only watched that movie like one time.
There's an Australian movie
sad.
There's an Australian movie that I want to watch for a long time because people were saying how sad it was, called Red Dog, and it's about this dog, right? So I'm thinking, it's going to be the dog dies, but when the scene happens, it's actually his owner that dies. And it was pretty fucking sad because you weren't feeling bad for the human losing the dog. You were feeling bad for the dog losing the human. Interstellar was a great. Oh, you know what? Actually, I only watched Interstellar.
That's another one I haven't seen.
I really want to watch for years. I want to watch it. I only finally watched it again. It was maybe the start of this year or end of last year, and it was so good until it got to not the end, but towards the end where he goes into that. I don't know how you call it. I don't want to spoil it for Russ, but he ends up in a place, and it's just like, what? it's like your brain's just trying to figure out what's happening. But everything leading up to that was fantastic. Like the way they talked about travel, like because they were in different like a different whatever, like time travels differently wherever you are. So like because he's in space in some place, like his daughter's aging faster than he is essentially wherever he is, and there's a lot of crazy science in it. Again, that breaks your brain when you think about it. But it's a great movie. I need to just like get a bunch of movies, just get a huge stack and just binge watch everything that I've not seen in the last 4 years. Just one streaming service is all you need, mate.
I can't do the prices have gone up so much on streaming services. I can't do it, man. It's like
I only really pay for one, and then the rest I use Sarah's family's account.
Like the only two I have right now are both like free ones. There's one called Freevee and there's one called Tubi, and both of those are absolutely free. Like I can't like budget in a streaming service.
They used the most realistic simulation of a black hole ever made. Yeah. It was very good. And it was Matt Damon was in it. I didn't know he was in it. Yeah, he just showed up in the movie. I was like, what? What? I don't think I knew that this was a thing.
It's just Jason Bourne out of nowhere.
Yeah. The movie made me see how time is not really real. Yeah. It's not. What?
Get movies from
You
the
still have
library.
movie libraries? Or just like normal libraries have movies, do they? I didn't know that. I
I'm
haven't been
at
to a library.
we've got a library here, but it's a little ways away. I might
You
have to
should
check
go
it out
there
next
and do a
time I'm over
library
there.
tour. I would like to see your library, Russ. I haven't seen a library for
Really?
a while. Yeah, do a library tour. I
If
said,
I
you'll
get
be
down that
filming.
way, I might do it.
You'll be filming and say, "This is the," and someone will be like, "Shh." Speaking of time travel, or interstellar travel, Ahsoka. Anyone watch that last night? It was there's a bit of interstellar travel in Ahsoka too.
What episode is it up to now?
Last night was episode 5.
There's only what, 6?
I think there's 8.
Oh, really?
I think, yeah. I'm really enjoying it, but I'm surprised how mixed the reviews are of people. Like
I wish they would do more shows on DVD or Blu-ray like after they air.
Well, Disney are cutting all.
Yeah, I
physical
know.
media.
Like all the physical media is just
Actually,
like
wait, no,
disappearing,
I
man.
think is that just us? I feel like it's just Australia for now. I think it's just Australia because we're definitely not getting anything from Disney, which means no Marvel, no Star Wars, nothing.
Really?
It's done. I think it's just in Australia for now, but that means eventually,
yeah,
it will. Yeah.
I wish they would like just do one streaming service that had everything, because now it's just so ridiculous, man. It's like when when Netflix first started, it was like the alternative to having cable. It was just one cheap cost. You could watch just about anything you wanted. And now every single station almost has their own streaming service.
They're losing
and the prices add up astronomical, man.
They're losing money by having someone else promote their stuff. So just promote your own stuff. That's the way.
I feel like they should just have one place where you could see everything you wanted to see.
Think about 2 years ago. Everyone had streaming, right? I didn't really because I was tight ass. I just used everyone else's accounts. Like pretty much all the streaming services were fairly cheap. So a lot of people had everything. But now there's so many and they've gone up in price. So now people are canceling their services and you don't have. Yeah. So like, I think like that sort of market.
It's like, when you got like 10 services and there's only like 1 or 2 shows that you actually like on each service, it just gets to where it's not worth the price of the subscription because you're only watching like 1 or maybe 2 shows on each service.
Yep. That's why I canceled my binge because I got it just to watch Last of Us, and then like after we watched Last of Us, like 4 or 5 months later, I still had it. I was like, wait a sec, I haven't used this at all. Yeah. And then we started watching Walking Dead after I canceled it.
I was like, I remember, it was maybe 2 years ago now. I got an email saying I could get like a week-long free trial of HBO. So I did the free trial and I binge watched the entire Game of Thrones series in like 7 days. And then I canceled the service so I wouldn't get charged. But I can't remember what happened on the episodes because I binge watched like 5 or 6 seasons in 7 days.
Yeah, that's
I
what
barely slept that week.
When the Cobra Kai came out, I think it was when season 2 came out. My friend really wanted to watch it, and I had downloaded them. I watched the first season on YouTube, but the second season I downloaded. So he asked me if he could come and copy the files off me, and I said to him, "Have you ever had YouTube Premium?" He's like, "No." I was like, "So why don't you sign up for a week, like you get the first week for free, and just watch it all?" And he did that. He watched it over 2 nights. He goes, "Oh, I'm done."
Yeah, that's what I did for the first season. I got the free trial and then canceled it.
I can't remember. Was season 2 already on Netflix, or was season 2 still?
I don't know. I never got to see season 2, so I'm not sure.
I think the first 2 seasons might have been YouTube, and then after that, I went to Netflix. Good show.
I know JoJo was just talking about on the show yesterday. Their cats, they had like the Netflix and they had the DVD subscription where you could like still get DVDs from Netflix.
Oh, really?
They're like just now finally canceling the DVD service.
Well, I remember having Netflix. I used to have a media player where I would download movies onto a USB and then you could play it through the media player. And that had Netflix, but I had no idea what it was then. It was like when it first came out, it wasn't really popular. I had no idea what it was. So.
I remember like back when it first started, you had to get like this disc or something to insert in your like DVD player or something like that.
Yeah,
it was like a program disc, or you could put it in your computer.
I worked at Blockbuster, and I remember towards the end, I didn't work there. I quit before they obviously went under, but toward the final days of when I was working at Blockbuster was when they brought in the subscriptions. So rather than renting your videos or DVDs for $5 for a night or a week, whatever, you could pay like a monthly subscription. So you pay $30 a month, and during the month you could hire pretty much as you'd like, but you had a limit of like 5 weekly movies and 2 new releases. And during that time, you could just keep swapping them over. So if you watched all 7 movies in one day, you could just come back the next day and swap for another 7 and keep doing that. That was kind of like towards the end.
Yeah, I remember a couple services that like kind of came and went. They didn't last very long. Like it seems like I remember one that was called GameFly, where you could rent like games through the mail, and they would like send them like, and then you got done and you sent them back instead of like going in the stores.
Yeah, it's like I remember there was like DVDs in vending machines at one point here.
Yeah, there's over here they were called Redbox, I think.
Yeah, I was just like, how do you return them?
I don't know. I guess it's just I never tried to rent from one, but I imagine a lot of people just like get them and keep them.
Back on Aliens. All right, we've gone way over the hour, Russ. I think we should probably end it. Aliens. I think we covered Aliens for quite a bit. I know Russ started. Yeah. It started off rocky when Russ started with so I used to watch Star Trek. I was like, what are you talking about?
It's like I don't know, man. I just
version of Aliens.
But I'm gonna have to go check out some of these movies like Arrival and stuff. I got to remember to look for those.
Mate, go down the YouTube rabbit hole of of UFO and alien footage, mate. That will get you. All right. You got anything coming up on your channel, mate?
This Saturday, I have another episode of Let's Talk Comics with Saturday's guest is going to be Magic Lasso.
Cool.
And next Monday, I should have a unboxing. A comic I ordered should be coming in by next Monday. And on the 25th, I might have another guest for Let's Talk Comics. I don't want to say anything yet because he hasn't confirmed, but we'll see how it goes.
Sweet.
What about you, man? What you got coming up?
What have I got? I've got only one video made at the moment. I did a vlog the other day. I was at the shopping center and I was waiting for a message from Sarah. So I, while I was waiting, I just walked around and filmed and I turned it into a video. So it's like a 4-minute vlog. Apart from that, I've got a video that I haven't edited with Mark at Big City where we talked about collecting, and that's about it. I'm going to try to do a collectible show and tell if I can get off my ass and organize it. Not this weekend, but next. So stay tuned for that.
Cool, man. And, that's it for episode 64. Tune in next time for whatever we're going to be discussing, and keep it 9,000.
Aliens are real.